You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
What am I doing? Hold on. Right, welcome to the show. Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, FHL, episode 92. And of course, we're going to take a second look at that Never Run Out of Network Marketing Leads again, Brian Buffini on the Eric Worre podcast. And of course, the link is in the description, right? So if you go to youtube.com/Eric Worre, you'll be able to find all these videos there. So, but don't forget what shouldn't you forget to do? Like, subscribe, and click that share button. Joey's not going to be here today. Joey's on, where is Joey? He's on army training camp. He sent me a picture of him with his sniper rifle. I don't think it's a sniper rifle, it's just a rifle, but he looks cool. I should try and show you a picture of it. Can I do that? I don't think I can. But it does look cool. So anyway, listen, look, this is No Limits, Transform Your Life. It's about thinking better, doing better, being better, right? That's what it's about. And of course, you know, we're focusing on the Eric Worre stuff because both Joey and I are involved in network marketing. And of course, you know, you want to learn how to do that in a very deliberate kind of way. That's what it's about. It's about being deliberate. Now, let me see. Yeah, don't forget, like, subscribe, share. click that notification button. We're usually on around about the same time every week. Our clocks went forward overnight, so it's now 10 a.m. here in Ireland. But of course, it was 9 a.m. yesterday. Now it's 10 a.m. The sun's higher in the sky, which means we're definitely moving into summer. Of course, I know that it's spring, but summer's only around the corner, really. Right? Okay. So anyway, listen, I'm looking forward to getting into this. We kind of touched on it last week a little bit, but we didn't really get into the nuts and bones of it. So hopefully we'll get there this week. My name is Mick McQuillan, and if you're here watching live, welcome. If you're watching on the replay, listen, give us a comment. I'd love to hear what you guys think. So let me see. Can I add this to the screen? Yeah, I can. All right. So this is obviously Eric Worre. If you don't know who he is, go and check him out. You probably do know who he is if you've been around network marketing. He wrote a great book called GoPro. Definitely recommend giving it a read if you're new to network marketing. It's going to give you a lot of information on what to do, how to do it, and how to do it really, really well. But it takes persistence. But anyway, listen, let me just turn this onto silent. Turn it down a little bit. Look. Turn it down. There. Right. So let's have a little listen. So we're about halfway through. We're about 50 minutes in, and there's another hour and 10 minutes to go. But I don't think we're going to get all of that, but we're going to try and get a good chunk of it. So let's see.
In wealthier circles, it's one of like three things: insurance, real estate, or they picked some common thing and became great at it. There's a huge mansion next to my house where I grew up, and the guy made wire hangers. That's all he made.
Yeah.
I've got a neighbor friend of mine here his family has a huge farm. He's worth $100 million, but it's farming.
Yeah.
They picked something.
Get good at
They
it.
make tissues. They make
the guy
bottles.
who invented WD-40. If you ever been to Coronado Island,
Yeah.
the biggest, most magnificent mansion on the ocean in
It's
Coronado
the
Island is the guy who
WD-40.
and you know what?
Yeah.
That company has only ever had one product in
Right.
its history.
Right.
Focus.
Yeah. So so you get introduced to real. Talk to me about your origin story in real estate.
Yeah, so here I am. I'm actually the first day I walked into a real estate interview, I had my leg in a cast and I was on crutches.
Right.
And but the good news is real estate is the lady liberty of all business. If you can fog a mirror, you can pass the interview.
Yeah.
And so I got in the door. Now, an ironic story, true story. I kind of make fun of it, but I met a guy in a bar, and which is where Irish people go to think and plan. By the way. And a guy hands me
your office.
He hands me this card, and on the bottom of it, it says $1 Million Club. And I'm thinking to myself, poor immigrant. I'm down on me look, bad accent. So I've never met a millionaire before. And I don't find out till later on that he sold $1 million of real estate, which means he made 30 grand, about 15 grand after expenses. He should have had a food stamp on his business card. I was like, but I went in for an interview and they get me in the door and you're trained all the way. So I went to the training systems, cold call, door knock, expired, for sale by owners, banging on the doors, bang, 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 bang. Find them, fleece them, forget them. That was the number one trainer in the space at the time. That was his motto.
Really?
Well, that flew in the face of, can you put your name to that?
Yeah.
So a great example will be this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to meet people. I'm going to build relationships and I'm going to try to provide value. So I would go on open houses that no one else would hold, like even in rougher neighborhoods. And I remember I was a couple of weeks into the business. I don't know very much about the business yet. I'm learning. I'm going through all the training. I don't like the training. It was in violation to me of what I've been raised with. This lady walks in the door. And she's about 5 foot tall, about 300 pounds. She's got a kind of disheveled appearance, spaghetti on her blouse. She walks in, walking through the door. Who are you? I'm Brian. Where are you from? You got an accent. I was a lot thicker back then. And she goes, okay, great. She looked around the house. She goes, okay. She says, well, call me there's the 3 questions I want to know about this house. Call me, let me know. So I get back to the office. I do the work and I call her that evening. And I go, Anna, it's Brian Buffini, just following up with you. You asked me these 3 questions. I have it for you. And she didn't listen. She goes, oh, you called. They never call. I go, sorry? She goes, they never follow up. Who? Realtors. I go, okay. She goes, here's my address. Come on over and see me. Bring a purchase contract. Now, I had never filled out a purchase contract. And I had like a sample. I go over. This is true as I'm sitting here. I sit down with this lady. I walk in the door. I never gave her the information. She just wanted to see would I follow up.
Mm-hmm.
I go into this house. I sit down with her. Little Mexican lady. She walks through. It turns out it was salsa, not spaghetti.
Mm-hmm.
I was new to the country.
Yep.
And she basically filled out the form for me, showed me what to do. And she goes, you followed up. I can see your energy. Go get me that house. Be who you say you are, and you'll be my realtor. Well, I bought her. She had 10 grandkids. And in the next 18 months, she bought every one of them a home.
Wow.
Through me. In fact, I was in her will when she passed away. She had over 39 properties. And I was in her will because she goes, and in the bit, and she goes, no one but my Irishman, Brian Buffini of this company, is allowed to sell these properties. Wow. And so in each one of their kids, and I helped their kids and grandkids, but it was the follow-up. It was the connection. I built a relationship with her. I go by and see her. I'd write personal notes to her. Every client I ever got. And when I got so I applied this method. My father used to say the work will speak for itself. So I developed a methodology so that the work, because the work didn't speak for itself. I had to make it speak. So I built a marketing system that was built around following up with my best customers. I'd write personal notes. I heard George Bush Sr. How'd you get to the White House? I write 10 personal notes a day. So I started writing 10 notes. Let's write 10 notes. Our company today sells 15 million personal notes a year.
Really?
Because I teach writing personal notes, and then people say, what are the notes you sent? So I would provide items of value in the mail rather than here's a picture of me standing in front of a, Rolls Royce or whatever.
Right.
And I'm number 1 in real estate, which nobody cared. It was, hey, here's how to lower your taxes, or here's how to protect yourself from identity theft. And so every month I'd send something of value, personal notes, personal contact, build relationships, and then built this system over time. And what happened is I was in debt as a 19-year-old, and I was a millionaire by the time I was 23.
Really?
And by the time I was 28, I was the number 5 realtor in the United States. I was doing over 100 sales a year, all by referral. I had no advertising budget, high margins, high net worth, and tremendous trust with my clients. And then what happened is people said, real estate is full of conventions, as you know. And so they go, well, can you come and be at the convention? And you've won all these awards. And I had no interest. But I had this one gentleman say, hey, I'd really like you to come do me a favor, my broker. So I said, okay. And I sit on this panel of people. Can you tell us how you do it? And these were all like, they had huge advertising budgets. And they had TV commercials and big flash stuff and whatever.
All volume.
And I'm like, why am I here? And so I shared what I did. And when I finished up, I was at a large real estate convention with thousands of people. There were hundreds of people standing in line talking to me. Can you tell me how you do it? I want to do what you do. I'm like, really? I want to do what you do. And then the companies, can you come here and tell us how you do it there? Can you come? And over time, because I had systemized this, I built out a bit of a team at this stage. Mm-hmm. So I had multiple people who did well. So then it was like, okay, could I actually teach other people to do this the way I do it?
Yeah.
And so then that's how I got into the training side of it.
So tell me, what is the secret sauce? Because I do think that there's for a lot of entrepreneurs listen to the podcast, but in addition to that, these micropreneurs, these solopreneurs in the network marketing space do. And I think that there's some parallels. I'm always fascinated with real estate because I never really figured it out as far as using the tax benefits and from an investment side.
Oh yes,
I just never mastered that. But I do see the parallels in finding prospects, educating prospects, connecting with prospects, building relationships with prospects. All business is conversation. Yep. You need to be in conversation at all times. You need to make sure you're top of mind with somebody when they think about they have a need, or they might not think that they have a need, and you need to let them know they have a need. Okay, but all business is conversation. I learned that from Tony Robbins, CEO, who's a good friend of mine. Yeah, CEO for 22 years. He lives here in Vegas. He's retired. He said, Eric, all business is conversation.
Sure.
And as simple as that little thing is, that's probably 10 years old for me.
Yep.
It wasn't foundational, but it's become like, oh, yep. All business conversation.
Yeah.
We have a conversation. Who knows what's going to happen
Right.
with us? We stay in conversation. Who knows what's going to happen?
Right.
All kinds of things could happen. But the same thing's true in the network marketing space. People need to get into more conversations, they need to increase quantity, and then increase quality.
Right.
And build real relationships, and stop treating every person like you're hunting them.
Right.
But build a relationship, more of a farmer than a hunter.
Exactly.
And if you cultivate all those relationships instead of like shoot them,
If you have the work ethic of a hunter, but the mindset of a farmer,
yes,
the
urgency of a
like
hunter, but
hate
mindset.
like a father,
Right.
love like a mother, right, Jimmy? I mean, you asked me what the secret sauce is, and you just laid it out in tremendous detail.
Well, but you've become like, how many trainers train at your level?
Well, we have. I mean, we're the largest coaching company in the space. I mean,
Wow.
we've trained over 3 million realtors and lenders worldwide. 40 countries. So 1 out of every 8 homes in America is sold through our membership. 1 out of every 7 in Canada.
Wow.
So if we were a real estate company, we'd be probably the largest or second largest
What's
real
the
estate
name of the
company.
company?
Buffini Company.
Buffini Company.
Yeah, it used to be called Providence.
Okay.
And then it turns out there was a company that had its name 150 years before I was born. And they said, we want our name back. So I said, great. I have me name Buffini. Can you put your name to it? So I didn't want to put my name on it, but I did. So
good thing.
Yeah, so we built this
And
system.
when did that start? The system that
You
realized the system could be replicated.
Yeah, that was in so I started like doing the guest speaking around 1994, 95, and then I opened up. We're 29 years in business, January 4th of this year. And I started out and I started putting seminars together, and people would come to this. And the market was a 4-hour seminar. You remember the free seminars?
Yep.
Augmandino actually invented it. I don't know if you know that.
No, the regional seminar?
Because back in the day, regional seminars, you had to pay $47.
Yep.
And Augmandino invented the free ticket, $47, and then, free. And then people would come and then he'd sell his stuff in the back of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got in. The business had been a bit jaded by that. There'd been a ton of people. So always beware of people saying, no, that's been around for years. Network marketing, that's been around for years. And, when I got in, it was a slightly downturn in the market, and people were like, oh, seminar speakers are a dime a dozen. Nobody trusts them, all that kind of stuff. So it's not a good time. That business is dying out. So at the time, there was 4-hour seminars,
Mm-hmm.
and they spent 3 hours and 30 minutes selling their products.
Yep.
And I was like, I thought from my client's perspective. I think that's the gift I have. I'm able to think from your perspective. So you're coming to my seminar, and I go, you're a busy realtor. You got a lot going on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do a 4-hour seminar in 2 hours and 15 minutes. And what I'm going to do for 2 hours and 9 minutes is I'm going to make you laugh. I'm going to make you think, and I'm going to give you a heck of a lot of value. And then with about 5 minutes to go, I'm going to say, by the way, if you want more of this, I'm coming to town in 30 days and I have this event. When I started the free seminars in real estate, the average salesperson who was doing the 3.5-hour sales presentation, they closed 8% of the room. I would do 2 hours and 15 minutes, 6 minutes, here's what's coming. And we averaged for 17 years, 42%.
Wow.
So 42% of every room I presented to signed to go to our 2-day event.
I just wanted to break in for a second and ask if you're struggling to stay motivated in your network marketing business. Are you feeling stuck? Like you're spinning your wheels, but not seeing the results that you'd hope to get? Well, you're not alone. This happens to everyone. And that's exactly why I created GoPro Insider. This is a daily video coaching program designed to give you the exact steps to move.
So I'm going to let Eric do his ad because, look, we're watching his show, right? So do go and sign up for that. If you're in network marketing, do go and sign up for it. Check it out. Yeah. And listen, look, let me know if you're watching live or even on the replay. Let me know what network marketing company you're in. Be interested to know. Or don't. It's up to you. That's all up.
Move forward. In an average of just 7 minutes a day, you'll get my best strategies to master your mindset, sharpen your skills, and start seeing real progress.
Thank you, Eric.
If you're tired of guessing, searching all over the internet for solutions, and ready for a proven path to success, join me at GoProInsider.com for as low as $9 a month, just 30 cents a day. It's time to take control of your business and your future. GoProInsider.com. Okay, let's get back to the conversation.
And then in our 2-day event, I would explain in depth and give a ton of value. And they would pay, it was at one stage, it was $295 and then $395. Every time I had an airplane, the call letters were always $295 or $395, $495, whatever the price of the event was, that was the tail number. So I eventually got to the point where, and we started, getting people, we had coaching behind it. So you go to the free event, you go to the 2-day event, and then went to the 2-day event, we explained it in detail, had people have a great experience, but really gave them more than they bargained for. And then they go, I want more. And 32% of them would get into our coaching program. Then what we did was this. We developed a philosophy, said, we're going to coach you like the only client we have.
Mm-hmm.
We started that 29 years ago. And so we have grown exponentially by way of referral.
What form did the coaching take? How did you deliver the experience?
So not too dissimilar to how it's done today, a little more technology now and Zooms and things like that. But it was every 2 weeks, we're getting a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd start out with a business analysis. Where are you at? I'm sorry?
One-on-one?
One-on-one, just one person on phone. And I've tried it all. I'm 29 years in the coaching business.
Yeah,
I've tried the group coaching and this and that. I've tried it all. The best form of coaching is one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's okay. I meet you, Eric. We have a little personality profile analysis. We bought a company years ago. So we kind of get to know, okay, here's how you're wired up.
Mm-hmm.
Here's how you like to communicate. Here's your speed. Okay, secondly, we do a business analysis. Where are you at? We have single moms with 6 kids, and we have someone who ran a Fortune 500 company who got into real estate. We have the most famous celebrities in the world whose spouses get into real estate, and we have people who are 19 or 20 and they just came here and got their citizenship or whatever.
Right.
So you find out who you are, where you are, what's your business, so on and so forth. And then here's the magic. We have a system, work by referral, build, sort, qualify a database.
Work by referral is
that's our
foundation.
That's our methodology. Everything else is work by referral. So it's how do you build a database? And you have a series of concentric circles. Like you have your A+ people, your advocates. Those people, like when you do business with them, they tell you've got to work with Eric. He's the greatest.
Mm-hmm.
You have your A+, and then you have your A people. These are the people who are maybe past customers, and people forget they're past customers, and they refer you once in a while. A little stat on this. Every year, the National Association of Realtors does a stat, and they how many of you are extremely satisfied with the realtor services, and they get a high mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ask, what was their name?
Mm-hmm.
28% of people who say I was extremely satisfied with my realtor can't remember their name in 6 months. Can you remember the person who sold you the car? Can you remember? No, because they're on to the next.
Yeah.
So we teach stay in contact, build relationships. So it's you build up the A+, the A's, the B's. C people are new people you'd meet. And in today's world, we have the O's, the online social media network. And then there's the most important category is the D's. And the D's are the people to be deleted from your database. And people don't.
Because they'll suck up your energy.
They do. And so we came up with a French phrase called jackass.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
So you ever met a jackass?
Yeah.
Well, here's what we found. Good people know good people, and jackasses know jackasses. And one of the things that absolutely deflates a self-employed person is that when you work with someone who doesn't value you, doesn't bring, robs you of your joy, doesn't trust you, constantly questions your value, tries to cut your fees and everything else, the person's driving around in the car going, I should be doing something else.
Mm-hmm.
And we go, no, you got to weed the garden. So then that becomes your database. And then we lay down a layer of activities. And again, this will be music to your network's ears, but here's what we found scientifically. The people who do the most activities are the people who make the most money.
So what are the activities that you recommend?
So we have a system layered over the top of this database. If you look at these concentric circles called contact, care, and community. So the contact.
Hold on, say that again.
So you have the circles is the database, contact. The second one is care. And the third one is building community.
Got it.
So contact, for example, that's when you're making phone calls, you're sending out valuable emails, for example, that have resources to it. So you're reaching out, you're trying to contact people and trying to connect. How are you doing? Reaching out. On the care side, personal notes are key. And by the way, it's been around a long time. It's still the first thing that people open.
Mm.
It might be the only, and again, these personal notes are, and I hate to let the cat out of the bag. You'll get a personal note from me in about 3 days.
All right, here we go.
Because it's who I am. It's what I've done on this for a long time. And it'll be very simple. People think it's like some kind of magic. You're like,
Great to
Eric,
see
thanks a million. And I can't, really enjoyed the conversation and getting to know you.
Yeah.
And you get it in the mail. And here's the thing. I've told you this is coming. When you get this in the mail, you're going to go, that's cool. It is.
But I'll remember you.
And it's just that little cool thing. So then we developed a little methodology called pop buys, which is systematically during the course of the year. So, for example, I mean, it might be simple stuff.
Pop buys,
B-Y.
So,
not like Popeye.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a pop buy is, so for example, and these are things back to my real estate days. It's July 4th. So the week before July 4th, I'm bringing ketchup, mustard, relish. And I'd have a little tag on it. Hey, just pop by to let you know I relish your referrals, that kind of stuff. And like we teach so many people now. So just so you know, during July 4th, there's two times a year, Costco changes their price. We have tens of thousands of clients. So that go to millions of homes. So our marketing pieces go to 3 million homes a month.
Wow.
So we provide the marketing, we give them to the agents we coach, and they send them out. We do this with pies at Thanksgiving. Costco makes these fantastic pies.
Yep.
And then this 3-pack of ketchup, mustard, relish, they adjust the price around that time. And we actually have a relationship with Costco. We call them headquarters wise, and we tell them how many we expect to see this year. And they'll stack it up because we actually would sell them out. So, because this has really worked for people. As simple as it is, like someone's coming by with a Thanksgiving. And what we do is give people the choice. Do you want this or that or the other? Oh, you want pumpkin? I'll be popping by. And so I'll give you a great story on this. When I was selling real estate, and this will be, the network marketing is full of people who are on both levels here, just like real estate is.
Yep.
I was the number one agent in my company, number 5 in the country. People knew I was doing a great big business. There was a gal in my office. It was Mother's Day. And I have my car loaded up by an Isuzu Rodeo. You remember those bad boys?
I had one.
Loaded to the rafters. Yeah, I had
the big grill on the front. The whole thing.
I had the green for Irish with the black grill.
Of course.
Great car, right?
The grill was awesome. You had to have the grill.
Yeah, grill and the wheel on the back of the car. So it's loaded up with flowers. And I'm delivering flowers to all the ladies in my database for Mother's Day. And I do it over the course of 4 days. Now I'm selling over 100 homes a year. And I have this gal, I'll never forget it. Her name is Louise. And she walks in the door. And Louise would sell comfortably 2 to 3 homes a year. And she comes to me with advice. And she goes, Brian, I don't know if you know this, but here in America, they actually have services that'll deliver the flowers for you. It's a lot more efficient, honey. And I didn't have the heart to tell her, Louise, that's why you sell 3 homes a year.
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing it, I don't have time to deliver flowers, but these are my most important people. And I would walk into an office and I'd have 2 gals because someone had referred me. I'd walk in with there'd be 2 gals in there. And I'd walk in and, hey, how you doing? Just happy Mother's Day, just popping by, little hug, good to see you, great stuff. I'm going over to see Marlene, going over here. And like meerkats, all of these heads start popping up out of the cubicles. And the next thing they're all standing around. Who is this guy? Well, he's our realtor. He does stuff like this all the time. And they all look towards the door, looking for their realtor. And what's their realtor doing? I don't know. Social media.
I will tell you what's funny. I love that, the differentiation. And as you're talking, I'm thinking, I have one of our business advisors who actually isn't great in the quality of the work, but he's so good at this that I can't stop doing business with him.
For sure.
I just can't.
Yeah.
Because he's always thoughtful. He's always thinking about stuff. He's always like, hey, I got extra tickets to this.
Yeah.
Or, hey, we got our beach house, would you like to use it? Yeah. Here's some weeks it's available if you'd like to use it. And hey, and we go on vacations together. We go skiing together. We go hang out. The quality's like, when
you put both together,
now
you got endorsements everywhere.
I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm just saying it's not at the level.
But the relationship is why you stay with them, and the care is why you stay with them.
Yep.
Well, yesterday, so I'm at Worre Studios yesterday, and this is our first, and Lord willing, if we get invited back, not our last time being there. Well, we brought in our top 15 referred clients for the year. We had 15 people who referred us 3,000 clients last year.
What?
So in addition to the studio audience, we brought these people in. My friend Bill Hampton, who's here with me today, wined and dined them. We took them to golf courses. We took them to shows. They got massages. They got custom robes. They got all this stuff. We had a dinner with them in a nice meet and greet. And then I had them sit in the front row. Well, one of the things we did is we had little personalized gifts for each one of them when they checked into the Bellagio. So I have now, so think about that. I'm doing this today. This is 35 years later.
Like on their pillow.
Yeah, just little stuff for them. So I have a gentleman in the front row. We're doing Q&A and using all the Worre technology. I love that, and the iMag and the whole thing. But we also took a couple of questions from the live audience. Well, the gentleman in the front row, he's a very, very successful broker. He has 4,000 agents. He's the top broker in the state of Utah. And he's asking me like a 15-year-old kid. He goes, Brian, when I checked into my room, you guys had this bourbon for me that very few people know that I love this bourbon. And he said, I thought, wow, he got everybody this bourbon. And then I talked to the folks at breakfast this morning, and my friend here from Montana, she got this caramel popcorn that you guys got. And she said, over here, you guys got somebody like this shampoo because they're allergic to hotel shampoos. And he goes, how did you get this information? And I said, well, let me ask you about this. I'll tell you how I got the information in a minute. How did it make you feel when you found out? And he goes, amazing. It's a very successful, very wealthy man. Everybody likes to feel cared for.
Yeah. And feel what I learned is the love language of wealthy people is gratitude.
Sure.
If someone is grateful, a family member is grateful, they can get all the money.
Yeah.
If they're entitled,
brilliant. Yeah.
They'll get super annoyed.
Never heard it said like that. That's brilliant.
But you want to unlock a wealthy person, just be grateful.
Yeah.
And they want to give it.
Yeah.
But every time they do, they get punched in the face or ignored or no, thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Or just treated like a dollar sign on their forehead.
Yeah. They only get calls when people need money and all that stuff. And if somebody's just grateful, they unlock everything.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Yeah. No, so true. So
how
I guess I'm still practicing that. So, I mean, I
have
have coaches and I'm like, hey, just and over time, gently connecting and so on and so forth. It's like, hey, by the way, if someone was giving you a great gift, this might've been asked 6 months ago. If like if someone just knew you and knew nothing, and then they got you a little gift, what would just like he doesn't remember that conversation. None of them do.
So do you know Harvey McKay?
Oh, for sure. I've had Harvey many times. Harvey's best friend is Lou Holtz, who's another one of my mentors. And they're best friends.
Yeah, I know. I've been with Harvey and Lou at here's a golf brag, so going to Ireland where golfing was created. Lou is a member at Augusta.
I know.
And so Harvey, I've done a lot of stuff with Harvey. And the reason why I asked about the Harvey question, because Harvey has his 66 questions.
Yes.
And every time, when you've had him speak, he said, pick somebody from the crowd. I need to know everything about them, answer these questions, because I'm going to tell them about themselves. But when I show up and surprise them. Yeah. So I do the same thing. So I've golfed 17 rounds at Augusta because of Lou and Harvey staying overnight, staying in the cabins, the whole thing. But so I asked Harvey about Lou. He likes this kind of wine, like Kendall Jackson. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But
exactly.
His wife likes chocolate. Okay, good.
Yeah.
His wife like Cabernet. Good. So I bring him his Kendall Jackson. I bring him his little mini Snickers, which he loves mini Snickers. and I bring 2 bottles of $3,000 bottle of wine, for his wife. And Harvey, I hand it to him. He ignores it. He's got basically the Kendall Jackson, the different stuff. And I hand it to him. And then Harvey says, hey, ask Eric how much this stuff costs. Because he was laughing. I said, well, it's like $3,000 bottle. He said, screw my wife. I'm going to put this in the safe. I'm selling this stuff immediately.
The greatest. So a little aside on that.
No, he's just a great guy, but I gave him chocolates, dude. He was joking about his wife. He lost her. She passed.
Yeah, I heard about
recently.
That.
And
Lou's too.
Lou's getting up there and struggling.
So he brought me, my brother, and my dad from Ireland. Yeah. And we stayed at the cabin, played a couple of days, the whole thing. My favorite moment of that, my dad's a lifelong golfer. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everyone in Ireland plays golf. Mm. So like the club I grew up in, they were all workmen. Yep. Okay. And we're sitting in and you know what the restaurant's like, and it's the greatest thing in the world and whatever else. And he's there for lunch and the waiter says, they have no menus, right? What do you want? What do you want? Yeah. Have anything you want. What do you want? And could you make me a ham sandwich? Like
Welcome, Joey. You're on army training. You must be worn out, are you, buddy?
I make it. I think that's the main thing. I'm grateful. Thanks, Mike.
You'll have to share that picture. I was telling everybody about it with you with your rifle. Looking pretty cool, like Action Man. So just to bring you up to speed, so we're doing part 2 of the Brian Buffini. You know, he's to be honest, like there is so much in it. Do you know what I mean? You know, when he's really talking about the follow-up stages and different things like that. You know, one-on-one coaching, all businesses conversation. You know, he built a system over time. Pick something and get good at it. There's loads and loads of stuff in this. And again, shout out to Eric Worre and of course, you know, his YouTube channel where you can find out all this information. But listen, great you're joining us, Joe. Say hello anyway.
Hey, good day. Yeah, Mike, thank you very much for the time. Thank you for continuing on with the journey. I said to myself, if I can get home, whether it's half an hour late, I'll still, refresh myself and chime in because I don't want you to be alone, my friend. So thank you.
Never alone. And listen, look, you've already listened to this and you're reading his book anyway, right? So you already know a lot about this kind of stuff. So we'll just dive straight in, listen to a little bit more. And sure, you can give us your overview then when we're done, because I'm interested to know what you think.
Like it was this exotic order, and the guy's looking at me, and we had the you know the story. We had the owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers are over here, the head of American Express, all these people around, and my dad says to the waiter, he goes, "Am I the first house painter you ever had in here?" And he goes, "I reckon so." I was like, it was just a magical moment. And for the next 20 years, my dad would be at the golf club. And when the Masters is on, now this is much slopier than it looks.
Yeah,
higher
let me tell you how it is.
But that's the give to give.
Yeah.
And, you know, Lou, I booked Lou all over the world. I referred Lou to all kinds of great stuff. And he did that for me. My house burned down in the California fires in 2007. And Lou, I had actually been as his guest at Notre Dame USC where they're unveiling the statue. And he always took it personally. And he waited the time and then he said, "Brian, I want to do something for you, take your mind off rebuilding your house and whatever else." And it was me, my dad, and my brother.
Oh, how nice is that?
And he took us there. And then years later, I get to return the favor. So Lou's house got struck by lightning and went on fire. Can you imagine all the memorabilia?
Yeah, I do.
And I was just heartbroken for him. And this is right before his wife passed. And here's what he said. Here's what how great people think. I said, "Lou, I know what it's like to lose everything and so on and so forth." I said, I'm going to come out to see you and spend a little time with you. He goes, "That'd be great." He goes, "Brian, I didn't lose anything that I can take to heaven." And he goes, "I have the people I care about, and that's all that matters."
Yeah.
And I hung up the phone. I go, "Great. He's still mentoring me,
But talk about the notes, like years earlier, there's some, golf tournament or something that happened in Minnesota and Lou played and met my dad and my brother.
He was a coach there. Yeah.
Yeah. And sent a handwritten note to my brother and to my dad. It was great to play with you. If there's anything you ever need. First time I ever met him with Marina, we were having difficulty in getting our son green card and deal with all this the stuff coming into the United States.
Yeah.
And Lou sat down with my wife and said, "So tell me what exactly I can do for you." Like before, she didn't ask anything. She said, "Well," she starts crying a little bit and tells him the story. He said, so he went all the way up into the White House.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yep.
Other than just to help.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man.
I mean,
and Harvey did the same thing.
Success leaves clues. Like this is who these men were. I mean, my son played football at SMU, and he had a young guy who was a walk-on who was like Rudy, and he fought, and he finally gets to start. And he's going to start against Texas A&M, and the day before they're doing a walkthrough practice, he breaks his foot, and it's his senior year, and he's just crestfallen. And Lou would always say, "What can I do for you? What can I do for you?" And of course, I'd never cash in those favors.
Yeah, right.
I said,
that's
Lou,
the other trick.
Yeah.
Don't cash in.
Right.
Don't cash in favors
Right.
too early.
Yeah. And
It's really bad.
so-
Try and make sure that there's always a deposit before you try and make a withdrawal.
Yeah.
Do the deposits first.
yeah, 5 to 1.
Yeah.
5 to 1.
Way higher.
And I typically, if ever I cash in a deposit, it's usually on someone else's behalf.
Yeah.
Rarely on my own.
Yeah.
But I called him up. I said, Lou, would you call this kid? And he goes, ask me something hard. And he called that young man. He had Jerome Bettis, who was this kid's favorite player, send him a signed jersey. And this young man, I mean, to this day, he actually moved to San Diego. And this young man said, like, it was his dream was to walk out and play Division I football. He never got to have that dream. But he said it was like the greatest sign of God's providence in his life, that in the midst of this heartbreak, it was one of the most amazing experiences of his life. That jersey is framed in the entrance to his home.
Wow.
But Lou Holtz, like she said, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And it's not just talk. Here's the other part of it is a lot of people say that.
Yeah.
What can I do for you? He did chase that visa for your son. And he's in your heart forever. He's in your family's heart forever.
Yeah. Harvey did the same. And he was the king of that.
He was.
It's still.
Yeah.
To this day. He's 93, shoots his handicap every day. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
He's out there 5 rounds a week.
Yeah.
At 93 years old.
Yeah. And then what a connector. What a connector.
Unbelievable. But again, with gratitude for him, I when he won the Horatio Alger Award, I took out a full page ad in USA Today.
You did?
Yeah. Full page.
Oh, wow.
Just a big, hero shot of Harvey.
Oh.
And congratulations for Horatio Alger, which is still framed in his office.
Brilliant.
He's just a legend.
You're a good guy. I get to know you better. I'm waiting for the wine. This will be.
Yeah, come on,
I'm sending you a note. I'm looking for the wine.
It's right outside the door. You like wine?
A little bit. Yeah, I do.
My wife really likes it. I
Yeah.
like it. A little bit here and there.
Right. That's me.
I'm watching Peaky Blinders, and I'm like, I need to have some scotch. They're always drinking scotch.
I did make an investment in a gin company. I don't know if that's related to Peaky Blinders.
There you go.
It might have been inspired by that.
Something. It never seems to bother them. They seem to be okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the other lessons that you learned? I mean, I've been a trainer around the world, and I pivoted from, and it sounds like similar numbers, I only have the one book, which is stupid, but it's sold like 5 million copies around the world. And I need to kick out a couple more this year.
Yeah, right. Come on, let's go.
Is my intention, but I keep getting dragged into, other stuff that takes my time.
Yeah.
But I think you start off, you're bouncing between crisis and survival, right? Which is where most people are. And it's all externally driven. When you hit a crisis, you got to get $500 to pay your phone bill, or they're going to turn it off. You always do it. But as soon as you survive, and you start falling back to crisis again. And most people are stuck in that, in that range. Then there's between survival and success. Now that's inner driven, right? It's not outer reasons. If you have strong enough reasons, you get the next 500 when you don't need to, right? So but it's about ambition, and it's about achievement. It's about putting your oxygen mask on before you help somebody else. But then there's a level above success I found, which is significance, and that is finding your fuel in other people's success. It becomes about contribution. My love language in business is, am I able to contribute? And not until people get to the level that we're at, do people really believe that?
Yes.
Because when people just chase success, it's pretty empty.
Yeah.
And
I've met some poor billionaires.
Yeah. There's Dan Sullivan has a book called The Gap in the Gain. Have you seen that book?
Yes.
Interesting. It's the same concept that we live with, but it's well said to be able to say, if you're focused on where you should be versus where you are, that's one thing, versus focusing on where you started and where you are.
Right.
That's another thing. One's gratitude. The other one's kind of failed expectations, always feeling bad because you're not.
And a loss of perspective.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
So contribution's been my biggest fuel.
Nice.
I still like being in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing with the big boys.
For sure.
I love getting in rooms that make me feel small.
Yeah.
Because, you get in some of these rooms and you just got to be quiet.
Yeah.
Just
pay attention because like, wow, these are titans.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that burn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, why am I playing so small? Let's go.
Yeah, right. And you find out like it's, you know, we make these little prison cells for ourselves, you know, and we just get on the plateau, and it's like you meet this guy, and that's all of a sudden, you know, you meet these billionaire people, and you go, hold on a second here, like that was not revolutionary. Now there were signs, there were subtleties, but he's just decided to play at a different game. It's like someone who's decided to live in a certain neighborhood. It's a guy who just decided, just made a decision. I'm like, that's a pretty good decision.
Yeah, yeah. So in all of this, where do you get where does your joy come from?
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, I'm a man of faith and I'm a man of family. You know, people, you know, the Irish did a TV show. I mean, like their version of 60 Minutes, right? And it's the Paddy Made Good story type thing. And they entitled it The Millionaire Maker, because we've helped a lot of people become millionaires. And they said, well, your legacy and this. And I said, I want to be honest with you. My legacy is my faith and my family. That's my legacy. But I said, in regards to this sense of purpose I have with my life, our company's mission is to impact and improve the lives and livelihoods of people. And it's the stories. That's where I get the juice. That's where I get the juice. It's the stories of lives transformed. We say, work by referral, live the good life. So yesterday at Worre Studios, you know, I shared a story of a lady named Janelle Schmittling, and she came to us, and her story was, it's 2:00 in the morning. She has 2 kids. She's barely making it as a realtor. She's desperate. Her husband's struggling with alcohol, and she's selling 6-7 homes a year, and she's not paying her bills. And she starts searching around real estate coach, and she comes to our website. Our website it's not the greatest website in the world, but it features stories of our clients. And she saw the story of one of our clients who was a rags to riches type story. And she went, if he can do it, maybe I can do it. Starts the journey and goes through the whole process. Now, the husband had, you know, he ended up rolling his car and ended up in rehab. They were separated, all kinds of stuff. Well, she follows the path, pays the price. She's very disciplined with the system, had her goals, stayed true to the course, and then immersed herself in personal growth and community of people. And so now she's there, and here's the years, here's the deal, and whatever else. And now here she is, and she's got a team, and she did $200 million in sales last year, and yada, yada, yada. The husband, she was able to get him the help he need. He's back home. Every time I see that video, I've seen it made. We have hundreds of these. I tear up. I showed it to my family.
Sure.
I go, Dad's on the road, but, you know, Thanksgiving. I go, just so you know, you guys have all contributed to that.
Yeah.
And that's still the juice for me. That is more than anything else. Like, seeing that family put together, this gal who wasn't, who now is. And what did she say? The biggest thing that's changed in my life is my confidence.
Right.
I believe in myself. And she said, the reason I agreed to do this video is that maybe someone is sitting in their bedroom at 2 a.m. and they don't know what to do. And I want them to know there's hope and you can do it. And so that's the juice. I know that's your juice.
It is. Tell me, I'm guessing we're similar age.
57.
Yeah, you're 57. I'm 60.
Okay. You look good.
So, well, I'm trying. It becomes a battle at some point.
It's a lot harder than
I'm going to win the war. But how many days a year do you travel?
So I used to travel a ton. That's why I bought the planes. And I used to do 120 seminars a year. But I was interested in staying married and having kids. So I had a goal every year to do less, to the point that like last year I did 6 seminars.
Oh, wow.
But now I do them on a bigger scale.
Big scale, yeah.
And, you know, now that I've discovered Worre Studio, I'm going to be one of I used to be this guy and now I'm that. I'm going to be one of your testimonials. Yeah. And we'll have tens of thousands on the next one.
Yep.
And fantastic. So I cut it down. Now what's happened is all my kids are getting married and they got family. And now I'm actually, believe it or not, I worked very hard to get off the road. Our friend Jim Rohn, who was, he was like a father to me. You know, one of my greatest regrets in life is that every time Jim was around me, I made him feel sad. The man who changed my life, probably as influential, if not more, than my own father, because he would always come to the seminar and meet my wife and kids. And Jim used to say it subtly in his recordings. If I'd have known the cost, I wouldn't have paid the price. And when I got to know him, I found out what that was.
Yeah.
And he'd lost a few marriages.
Yeah.
And I said, I ain't doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why I bought an airplane. Not for lifestyles and rich and famous. I was like, I'm in Houston in the morning.
Be home at night.
I'm going to be home. I'm going to coach the basketball team and have dinner. And I did that. And it takes a toll, as you well know. I mean, it's not
Right.
easy. My plane became my office and so on and so forth. And then over time I wheeled, I was able to shrink it all down. And
Is it mostly in the United States or is it other places?
we're in 40 countries.
Wow.
And so if you
The principles apply everywhere.
well, like if you're in South Africa, you must use the Brian Buffini training program or you can't get your real estate license, I know your bride's from Ukraine. I mean, boy, you talk about people like that, like Czechoslovakians. I mean, people who were underneath the gun, underneath communism, are the greatest entrepreneurs in the world. And, sometimes I'm sitting here going, hey, let's wake up. Like it's easy here in America. Like,
they're hungrier.
Compared to it's easier. Success isn't easy, but it's easier.
Right.
It's easier here than it is in Czechoslovakia. Or it was like I'm going down to Argentina next month. We'll have 3,000 people down there. Their economy, they've had 500% inflation.
Yeah.
The story. And they are out the door, fired up. The best producers you can believe. They dominate the market space. And they just get it and they take a licking. And we're like, oh my God, inflation's 9%. And they're like, no, we were like 120 last year, and they get it done. So, and by the way, when you go down there, it reminds me of being an immigrant. When I go down there, it reminds me of that juice. And I'm like, yeah, because you can get to the point, right? We get to a point like the fast food's not fast enough, this and that and the other. I had a guy working for me that when he started working for me, he was literally living on a shed, on a lot, like living in a van down by the river. He was a great AV guy. And I was traveling all the time. And you need those guys that have a bit of an edge to them. You're kind of a roadie.
Yeah.
And I never forget it one time. He's in the back of the jet. And we had flown from New York and it was a Lear 45. So we didn't have full range from New York to San Diego. So he had filet mignon and drinks and whatever. I always treat the guys great. We land in Colorado Springs to refuel, get out, walk around. And I always used to have, a little snack the second leg. Well, anyway, the people didn't have cheese and crackers for the jet. Now, this guy 8 years ago is living in a van down by the river. And he bitched in the back of the jet from Colorado all the way to San Diego, to the point that made it into my book. And I said, when you lose perspective and you lose that edge, you start to lose that gratitude and appreciation. Every time I got on the airplane, I went, this is God's plane. This is fantastic. This is amazing. I can't believe it. This is great. And I enjoyed the living daylights out for 17 years. And then it's easy for a guy to lose perspective and he's bitching and moaning about not having cheese and crackers on the back of the plane. So when you're around people who are hungry, when you go and in your business, you've got to see it all the time. It just inspires you. It just fires you up. It makes you appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate your journey. And that's why if you're a person who's been doing what you've been doing a long time, go and hang out with a rookie.
Yeah.
By the way, you can mentor them, bring them along, help them.
You got to have those work clothes on.
Yeah, but you get that juice.
Mm-hmm.
And the people who have that fire, I like being around young people.
Yeah.
And they've got the juice and they don't listen to, you can't do this and you can't do your generation. I find the next generation have, in many ways, they're miles ahead of us.
Yeah, they sure can be. They have tools today.
They have.
How many people are you coaching at any one period of time?
We have 20,000 people right now.
Being
then,
coached.
Yeah. And then we'll have, we have 20,000 members and then we'll have.
How many coaches have you trained that do the coaching?
Oh, I mean, over the years, a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
you have a certified coaching program?
Yeah, we certified coaching program. All our coaches used to be in San Diego. And then, of course, after COVID,
right.
Now they're all.
So 20,000 people are part of the program?
In different versions of it. So we have our most intense version of, say, you might have it in 5,000 blocks.
Yeah.
So you have the people who get the most intense one-on-one type thing. And then there's people who might there's a secondary version with
small group.
Bum, bum, bum. All right, Joe, let me know what your thoughts are, right? Obviously, this is episode 92, never run out of network marketing leads again, Brian Buffini. And link is in the description where you can go and listen to the whole thing. Fascinating stuff. It really is fascinating. And look, I was saying at the beginning of the show that we're both in network marketing, and that of course, let us know what company you're with if you're watching live or even on the replay. We're interested, and we really want to help. And obviously, the Eric Worre platform on YouTube is a place where you can go and learn, some of the skills and develop some of the skills. And of course, Eric has his own coaching program that you can join for $9.99 a month. But it's really interesting, he's talking about staying in contact, with people. And that's part of network marketing, Joe, isn't it? With the follow-up and the building the relationships and stuff like this. And obviously, he was saying that, he built this system over time, and that means that you're trying things and maybe you're failing and you're learning from those mistakes and, until you get a model that works, right? And how it's personal and you've got to care for that relationship and build and nurture that relationship. You talk about this all the time, Joe. You talked about how being grateful unlocks potential, So what's your thoughts, Joe? I know you probably know a little bit more about Brian Buffini than I do. So give us your thoughts.
Yeah. I've amazed myself because I take note. I love taking note. I always want to stay as a student everywhere I go, and I pull out my notebook and I take note. And sometimes when I have time, I look at those notes. I think, he started the story that we start with about one of the mentor that he admired, that he was, his house was burned down, and he went up to him. He want to help him rebuild his house, and the guy message to him really inspired me. And also I think with our audience tonight, the things that we have in life, we can't take them to where we want to go in life at the end of our life. And and the mentor said to him, I can't take all the physical thing that I have to heaven with me. But as long as I have the people that I love, the people that they care about me and I care about them with me, I think that's the most precious thing that I can have. And that is very powerful. And it's so true. Me away for the weekend with the army, camping outside and on the rain and the storm, for me, being away from the family, it's one of the things that Brian talked about. That's some of the things that he value in life is his faith and his family. And for me, everywhere I go, I go away from my family and doing the hard yard, whether spending time on the sun and training and exercising. And the last time we had this weekend was storm here and raining and very cold in the morning. But down deep in me, the thing that keep me in check and keep me in the path, and because I want to pay the price to become the best, best in the military that I have, the thing that come to my mind, it's always grateful because there's a lot of people want to join the army. They come from the island like myself, but they never make the opportunity because they didn't have the opportunity like I do to join. So that to have the mindset that it's very important that to be grateful what you have in life, to be grateful what you do in life, no matter what the challenge you face or adversity. Be thankful because there's a lot of people willing to do what you do, but maybe someone didn't educate them or introduce them to do what you do. And I think that's in my journey with our professional, Mike, in our business. That's one of the things that I follow up with people, invite them to join maybe a live training or a business training opportunity call. It's because I really care about those people. I really want them to see success. Because some of them share their goals with me, they struggle with financially, physically, mentally, and I want those people to be here. He was saying something about today about if you surround yourself with the hungry people, you will be absorb their energy. One of the great things that I enjoy doing training with the army is not the thing that I only learn from it, but the opportunity for me to help a new soldier have the confidence that when we went on the weekend, they asked me to help a young soldier just join, and he came up to me and said to me, my last name is Unga, I I'm scared. I don't know what to expect in the weekend. And all I said to him, just breathe. Don't overthink everything. Just follow what we do. And if anything you don't understand, just ask, and I might be able to help you. And if I can't help you, I might get someone else that have more wisdom, more experience than I do, and maybe we can learn together. At the end of the exercise today, he came up to me before we came back, and he said to me, Unga, I just want to thank you for you. This is one of my first weekend away training with the Army, and I think this is not going to be the first and the last. I'm gonna looking forward for more opportunity because you make me this weekend feel confident about myself. You lift me up, you show me things that my parent never showed me, like how to put up your tent, how to lay your how to survive. It's a lot of some of the skill that I never knew about it before. So that's the thing. When you surround yourself with people that are hungry in life to live their purpose, you will start to absorb the energy. When you absorb the energy, you realize you have to be grateful. And not only you have to be grateful, but you have to share your grateful with other people too.
Interesting, Joey. There's no doubt about it. I love listening to you because you are inspiring and you're making a difference in other people's lives. And the truth is, you don't have to do that. You don't have to be that way. You could be, you could just, you could just behave like you don't care. But the truth is, you do care, and being caring isn't a weakness. Do you know what I mean? Being interested in somebody else's development, isn't a weakness. Wanting someone else to succeed, and enjoying seeing them go from, a lack of confidence to confidence. That can only help you, in a battlefield situation, right? Do you know what I mean? Because now you've got someone who's looking out for you, watching your back. Do you know what I mean? So look, I know we're talking about Brian Buffini here, and he started off by saying, both him and Eric started off by saying, you've got to pick something, and then get good at it, and that's, you could actually look at that with that example that you gave it. That guy, first weekend away at the Army, he's picked something. He's nervous, insecure, lacking in confidence. His job is now to get good at it. And he's got a mentor in you, to help him do that. Same way in network marketing. There could be someone watching now who wants to do something, wants to change, isn't quite sure, what to do, maybe lacking in confidence. They can get involved in a network marketing company. They can pick something that they like, and then they can have someone like you, a coach or mentor that can help them, that can help build their confidence, help teach them how to do things in a certain way to get the best kind of results. So, Joe, give me your final thoughts, on what you've heard today, and also, the broader and the bigger picture, of getting good at it.
Yeah. Mike, I just want to thank you. Before I say the last word for tonight, and it's an honor for me, and it's a blessing too at the same time. I know I learn a lot from your wisdom and your experience you're sharing with me. But every time we have our program, you give me the opportunity to have the last final thought. And my final thought, it's not the conclusion, but that's the beginning of planting a seed on someone's journey. What I learned and experienced so far from those mentors, Eric and Brian, is the word contribution. And why I'm interested in the word contribution, because some of the people might think what Joy doing at the moment, he's doing a lot of things, but I do things in life with purpose. I do things because I want to contribute. I came a long way from the island, climbed coconut tree, and swimming in the ocean to live in a different environment, raising a young family, and involved in the church community, rescue community in our SES. And I learned that when you learn to be grateful, you learn to have purpose in life. And I think they both mentioned that tonight in our Brian and Eric. They both use contribution and purpose, living a life of purpose, to feel their energy, to wake up every morning, to do what they love. And like you said, people might think, why Joey doing network marketing? Because I see the contribution that I can make in people's health, and people's lifestyle, in people's financial situation. And I don't have to do it by myself, because we have a system, we have the people, we have the training, we have the leadership, we have the mentor, and the growth that I learned from doing our professional has make an impact in my journey. And when I understand that it's make an impact in my journey, I thought to myself that I will never keep it to myself. I have to share it with anyone. So if I come in contact with someone in my life, I live a life of purpose by try to add value to that person, to make an impact on that person, or after I have a conversation or meeting with that person, to leave an impress of increasing, which means I depart from that person, but my testimony will be appear on this on the testimony. My name will be appear in the testimony. For example, I say something to her or him that will open her eyes or his eyes and mine, and realize I can do better. I have the potential. I have the ability to change my lifestyle, to change my health, to my financial. And I think that I hope that people don't think that I come to them to take advantage of them. And if that's the way they think, I think it's not aligned with my core value. I live a life of service to others. I live a life to have the courage to stand up for myself, for and people's right. And I have I live a life to respect other people too. Respect their faith, respect their when they say no to me, this is not the right time. When they say, I am busy at this time, I make it. Respect it, and I totally understand. If I don't have those value with me, I will start to complaining, mourning, like they said. And when you don't have those perspective in life, you don't have the purpose in life. And the purpose in life for me, and I think it's for you yourself, Mike, we're both doing this program for the contribution. We don't have to do it. We can have this 1 hour every Sunday to spend time with doing other things that we love, whether spend time with the family or go out somewhere. But we have a commitment because we want to make a contribution. We want to make living a life of purpose by adding values to people's life, by adding value to them, and live an impress of increase. Because when you get to a point in your life that you realize how grateful you are for the things that you have, for the opportunity that you already have in yourself, and the blessing that with our faith God has been blessing us, you wanna bless other people too. And that's the legacy that we want to leave. And like Brian said, the legacy you want to leave is his faith and his family. And our faith and our belief is, the more we help other people success in life, definitely the person we're believing in will bless me multiple more than what we give away. So the blessing is coming from the giving. It's not coming from the receiving. So when we have that perspective, we have a purpose to live and to talk and to turn up every single day. And that's why I'm so happy that I couldn't leave you alone to do the whole program tonight. As I said to myself, as long as 1 hour, half an hour late, I'll still freshen up, get changed, and jump in, because I want to make a contribution for our journey. So, Mike, thank you for the honor and the blessing that you gave me. It's all come from the heart. And, if you're watching this replay or watching this now, you can reach out to Mike McKillian. His contact is on the in our our live tonight, and also myself, just to have a conversation, because we believe everything in life happened by a conversation. Even with faith, it was the conversation that the world was created in our faith, and it's in our marriage. It was the conversation that we have our spouse nowadays, and come from the conversation where our children and our blessing and our work and our career, whatever you can say it all start from a conversation. So thank you for allowing us to have a conversation with you, whether through Eric Worre Excellence Project podcast, and Brian Buffini sharing his journey, all humble journey from Ireland all the way and make it to the States. And now they both educate us to understand there's a better way. And like we share, what we do in our professional is not perfect. Network marketing is not perfect. It has its own challenge, has its own challenge and adversity in life. But we believe is a better way for average people like yourself and myself, that we can start something small and build from there. And we can all start from the bottom, and we have an opportunity in the top to be there and to have the abundance and the prosperity that we really, really deserve in life. Mike, thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and our audience for tonight.
Wow, you got to love Joey's final thoughts. I love them every week. I learn something for sure. Well, listen, look, you've been watching Joey and Mick live. This is Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, FHL. Joey's contact details are running across the bottom of the screen, as are mine. And of course, don't forget to check out, as Joey was saying, the Eric Worre YouTube channel. And I think next week we're going to look at that couple who personally enrolled 130 people in network marketing and grew an organization to 71,000 people in 6 months. And I'm going to use the words of Brian Buffini, if I can do it, you can do it. That's it. Or if she can do it, someone else can do it. Like, this is amazing. Listen, super excited to be here with you guys, and I'm excited about doing this, because it's fun. It makes a real difference for me. And listen, I'm going to play out with my favorite video. This video just has everything's in it. You don't need anything else. Everything's in this video. And if you can really wrap your head around this video, I played it at the beginning, I'm going to play it at the end. We do it every week. Everything you need to know, is in this video. For me, it is anyway. And I learn from every time I listen to it, especially that bit at the end where he's talking about daydreamers of the day, he's actually talking about people who are living in their vision, like Joey was talking about, living in their purpose, making a difference, contributing. That's what he's talking about, contributing to their life. Eric Worre said it. He said, you've got to put your own face mask on first before you can help someone else put theirs on, So listen, we're going to see you next week, right? I'm excited. Don't forget, look, leave us your comments. We want to get to know you, just as Joey says. We want to be able to help. We want to be able to make a difference for people. That's what we're really doing. But first things first, Joey's making a difference in his life. I'm making a difference in mine and my family, just like Joey's doing in his. You can do the same in yours. But you've got to be part of a community. We want you to join our community. Right, see you next week. Watch this video. Take down some notes. You're going to love it.
Thanks, Brian.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And If you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.